incredible incitement, incredible brainwashing, which has really has to be changed. But the first phase is you've got to get rid of Hamas. Now, that is going to happen in one of two ways. It could happen with an international force that the United States is trying to put together, and I hope they succeed. And if not, as President Trump has said, and I've said, it can be done the easy way or the hard way. The hard way is that we'll have to do it. I hope we don't, because I don't want to spend more blood and treasure, especially blood, of the Israelis, or for that matter, of Gazans. But if it needs to be done, Hamas can't stay there, and they won't.
Mr. Prime Minister, you spoke to President Trump, I believe, on the telephone earlier this week. He spoke to you, I believe, about what's taking place in Syria. But I also understand that there was a discussion about getting his support, if you will, or more support from him for a pardon for you. Can you tell us about that conversation?
Not really. I don't tend to speak about private conversations, but I can tell you what I am talking about. President Trump spoke time and time again about the need to end this, what he calls a witch hunt, and it is. It's going on for 10 years, 6 years of bogus investigations and 4 years of an endless trial. And of course, if they had something would have occurred. So I was being put on trial. Are you sitting down?
I'm sitting.
Yeah, well, all right. For bribery. What was the bribery? Not envelopes of cash, not any material remuneration, but supposedly positive coverage in a second-rate internet site. Well, it turned out there was negative coverage. It turned out, in fact, that this was probably the most hostile internet site that you can imagine. So 2 years ago, the judges call in the prosecution and they say, drop the bribery charge. That's your flagship charge. There's nothing there. Well, they wouldn't agree. So they kept on going because they don't want justice. They want me out of office. So they continued. Okay. So then 2 charges were left. I received a Bugs Bunny doll. You're not laughing. My son received a Bugs Bunny doll 29 years ago. And I received some cigars and champagne bottles. That's what this trial is about.
And you were at that trial today.
Yeah. I'm supposed to spend 3 times a week, 8 hours a week in that trial. And I've got a few other things to do. And I think history beckons. We have opportunities for peace. We have enormous opportunities in AI and quantum, other things. Already revolutionized the Israeli economy once into a free market economy. And it's become a juggernaut. And now we have the ability to seize the future, which will not only help us, but help the entire Middle East, the world, really. And so I thought that in our system, when you ask for a pardon, you're not admitting to any guilt. You don't have to, and I don't. But I am saying that the needs of Israel are such that to spend another 2-3 years in this nonsense, where this trial has just collapsed, it's become a joke. It's a joke. I mean, taxi cab drivers make jokes about it. It's so silly. It's so stupid. And I suppose, for the fun of it, you can continue. I was the champion debater in my high school. Yes, I know how to do this, but this is absurd. So I hope that it ends and that we.
What do you think the chances are that it will? You spoke to President Herzog, and you've made the request.
Yes, I did. Yes, indeed. I don't know. It's up to him. But I hope he does it, because I think it's right for the country and it's right for our future. We have a lot of tasks at hand,
right.
And it's a lot easier to do them, Andrew, if you don't have to spend 8 hours a day, 3 times a week in this nonsense. It is just that. It's just ridiculous nonsense.
Let me ask you a separate question then. President Trump recently hosted MBS at the White House, who said he wants to be part of the Abraham Accords, but that there needs to be a path to a 2-state solution. How do you square that with your view, I believe, where you have said there will not be a Palestinian state?
Well, there was a Palestinian state. It's called Gaza. That's exactly what it was. It was a de facto state, and we didn't get peace. What we got was the most horrific massacre of Jews since the Holocaust. And if you ask Israelis now, and it just covers an enormous spectrum, I mean, from left to right, we had a vote in the Knesset. We have 120 Knesset members, 99-11, 10 abstained. 99-11 opposed being forced on a Palestinian state. I mean, that tells you something. And so people say, look, there has to be a solution with the Palestinians, but it's not one in which they don't recognize the Jewish state. They commit themselves over and over again to do this massacre again. They indoctrinate their children with textbooks that are calling for children to become suicide bombers, and they pay for slaying. I mean, the more Jews you kill, the more you're paid. I mean, this whole thing is not where it's going to go. We'll have to find a path for peace, and I think it begins in Gaza by removing Hamas and offering it a different future. But you ask, how do we square that away? Well, people didn't believe that we'd get peace with 4 Arab states in the Abraham Accords. And I worked on that in secret with President Trump's team. I had 3 guys in my office who knew about it. And there were public statements that were made, and everybody said it's not going to happen. But it did. I think there's a very strong interest to advance that peace. It's got to be peace based on security. Israel will not sacrifice its security, but I think that we can do great things. I think we can break out for peace accords not only with one country, I think with many countries, including Islamic countries outside the region. And that's what I hope to achieve once I can free myself of this absurdity. And I will.